Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 1879 actual play. I am Brad Decker. I'm the line developer for 1879. I'm going to be playing Nigel Fullmore, my Galvanic Mage, and I will let everybody else go ahead and get their introductions out of the way as I get the stream announcements going.
Hi, I'm Joel. I'm one of the 1879 writers. I'm playing Morgana, an elven aristocrat and general busybody.
Michelle, I will be playing August, who is an elf and an investigator.
I'm Lexi. I play River, a elven explorer who solves everything with a well placed lead.
Right down to me?
I
think we are.
think so.
I'm Andi. Supposedly, I'm in charge-ish. I'm the GM, at least. That's like being in charge, but different.
Cat herder.
Cat herding. And I do have a bunch of cats who recently found out that River's been right the entire time and that guns are the way to solve everything.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Apart from River, obviously.
Well, obviously. So, who wants to recap? And I kind of vote Michelle.
Oh, no, I hate recaps. I nominate Joel.
I nominate you right back. Ha!
Oh. Meanie.
It's kind of a job.
Yeah. I know we've got notes, but I still struggle to actually remember where on earth we are in mundane games, let alone online ones with notes. Okay.
You don't remember, somebody will jump in on. It's good.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so we've had a few days off, I think about 2 weeks, to train, study, rest, recuperate from our previous Fae adventures. And we restarted again on, I believe it was Wednesday, the 20th of April. And we are helping out our friend, Medium James. That is medium, as in, he is a medium, not size or anything. He's being accosted by angry spirits of dead children. Turns out they all died in the same place, which was a sweatshop, possible opium manufacture. And yeah, basically we went to go and have a word with James, and he was having many, many conversations with various spirits, some of whom were more forceful than others, shall we say. We've managed to find where the sweatshop is. It appears to be run by a troll gentleman. I use that word under advisement. And Morgana failed to get in to have a look around by being polite with him. And the house is warded. And then I think we're basically going to rejoin each other and compare notes. I don't think I've missed much.
The team who is at the door doesn't know about the wards. The team that was playing Lookout, the team who's playing Lookout does. And what they know about the wards, if I remember correctly, is that there's a bunch of them, and they look pretty serious. And that when the guy opened the door, they didn't turn off. And I think they were going to meet back up, recap everything, and then start coming up with some ideas on what to do, because possibly catching on fire and or blowing up, or both, probably bad for any children who are inside.
Or
and you might already have enough dead children.
Sure.
They're not Pokemon cards. You don't need to collect all the dead children.
I believe we've been warned that there were wards, but not a lot of details about them. I seem to recall they'd send they'd thrown a note at us.
The details I remember you guys having is that they were definitely in that fire range. So that, and that there were many of them, and that they did not go off when the door was opened. So it's not like he turned them off, walked in, turned them back on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brad, does that sound correct?
Yes.
So we will start back up with you guys all meeting up at some near-ish pub, because every neighborhood has one. I guess for some moon, it's a fairly nice pub, very middle class. It seems to be, like most of London, heavily human, but there are some others. There's an elven couple in one booth. There's a group of what looks like co-workers standing around a table with a dwarf on like a box so that he's as tall as the others. There's a couple of waitresses running around gathering orders. They seem to be having some sort of stew, if you want that for dinner, and it smells pretty good. So there you go. What are you guys doing?
I'd suspect finding a table, sitting down, ordering some drinks.
Everybody gets drinks. Everybody finds a table. Find a night. I'll even give you a nice booth in the corner where nobody's necessarily listening.
Yay.
So, what do we know so far, chaps? He's the owner of the establishment is cagey and doesn't seem all that pleasant.
Not that we'd really expect them to be.
I'm not saying I'm surprised, but it's nice to confirm that that our thoughts were correct.
Well, with the heavy warding they have on the place, it's going to make getting in fairly challenging.
Is it likely to be a problem if he's got the door open? I'm not sure how any of this stuff works.
Couldn't really tell from the distance. He's got to have some sort of a pass for it, whether that's built onto him directly to allow him to pass without disabling the wards, whether he's got some sort of a token that he carries to key into it. I couldn't say from the distance we had studied. There's got to be a way for him to turn them off as they bring new people in. Because he can't be the only one going in and out. If nothing else, they would have to bring children in. So
Can they not be triggered?
Sorry, go ahead.
Can they not be triggered on specific size of people leaving?
Possibly.
Or is that not how magic works? I don't understand it either.
The more complicated the trigger, the higher difficulty it is to set up. And we don't really know his full capabilities, so we can't be too sure.
I presume that the harder it is to set up, the harder it is to take down?
Yes, and the more likely it would be to be noticed that it's being taken down.
Right.
There's also likely to be redundancies built into it, so if a certain section fails or a certain number of them fail, that the others could potentially go off.
Marvelous.
There's a lot of different potentials for things. Again, at the distance, we couldn't tell entirely for sure, and it's also going to make it a lot harder to read the more difficult they are at the higher level they're cast.
So it's complicated to take down, and they're likely to know it's happening, but we might be... If we're prepared, we can take down the wards, go in, deal with matters, and if they turn up, we can just have some people arrest them.
Well, I think we're going to end up having to case the place. Like, again, they've got to have some way of turning the wards off when new people come in. They're also going to have supplies delivered. I'm sure there's a coal delivery around the back for the furnace. That's going to have the ward shut off. We haven't really gotten into that section. We only really saw it from the front.
Well, if most coal deliveries, they may simply tip the coal down the chute rather than coming in themselves carrying the sacks. It's certainly how it works at my house.
Potentially. It depends on the structure of the house. We don't know for certain because we weren't there. We
Yes.
haven't gotten to that point. So I think our best move is to case the place a bit more, try to get some more information on how these are set up, and probably watch it maybe for a couple of days to see how things go. Get an idea for the comings and goings and see how it behaves over time.
And yes, divide our forces somewhat. Some of us watching it at different times.
And in different ways, obviously.
Yes, Weymont could go and do some research, see if we can find out about the best way to disrupt the warding. How likely is it the wardies will make the house go bang, or how dramatic do they look?
It's probably enough where the entire house would be destroyed from what I was able to tell. I don't know how contained it would be. If it would be limited just to that house or if it would spread to the rest of the neighborhood as well.
Because if it simply starts a fire that will encompass the entire house, that might be dealable with firemen. But if it goes bang, that's an entirely different type of problem.
Yes, but not before we've got people out of it.
Yes, I was thinking if it just starts a fire, we could say to hell with it and just organize matters so we can minimize damage and get people out. But if it's all on fire and engulfed in it very quickly or explodes, that's not practical or sane.
Again, would need to study it a little bit more in detail, but I would definitely say that's a last resort.
Yes, yeah. I was just, thinking that, if it was something that would be relatively subtle and look like an accidental fire to destroy all evidence, if we were to move quickly enough, we could simplify matters, but best to know.
And if the force powering the wards were to disappear, what do you think would happen?
I mean, the wards are like an enchantment. They're kind of self-powered, at least for a certain amount of time. What duration is left on the wards for these, we can't really say.
New specialty knack. Timeline on wards. Like that ward's like 3 weeks old. That doesn't have much left. Yeah. What do you think? It's a good plan.
How much duration does that spell have? Oh, 2 rounds left. Not worth dispelling. It'll just be handy for all sorts of magic.
See? Somewhere in the cosmos, across the fourth wall, you're all listening to a GM cackle. I'm kidding.
New spell, analyze word.
not even sure if that needs to be a new spell. I think that might be already analyze.
I'd have to look to see what we got. I'm sure there's something we could put together for it. But if nothing else, then yes, you could put that as a new spell.
I don't remember anything that did that, but I could have missed it. Something happens.
No, there doesn't look to be anything that does it straight off. Specialties or detect might give you more information, but
It's very good, August. So your roll's not super high, so you definitely notice that there is a back door, a front door, a side door, and what you're very sure of is like a coal chute. Those are all very obvious things.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Oh, there was a side door, so there's a break between it and at least one of the houses. That's not like a row house.
No, it's got a break on both sides. It's a narrow break, like maybe 3 foot.
Right, but at least enough for a walkway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So possible there could be some amount of containment on the wards given the break space there. Not much, but possible.
But I think it's worth having people watching all 3 of those. As best as possible when we're...
Well, I was about to say, in theory, if you're watching the front and the back, you should see anybody coming out the side because it's going to another building. There's nowhere else to go. But that does bring up an interesting point. Could there be anything going on to the adjacent buildings?
Yeah, residential area.
So I'm hearing you guys are going to stake out the place, correct?
yes. Morgana will have a word with the pub landlord, see if he knows of any rooms to rent that she'll be a little bit more circumspect of it, but looking for rooms to rent on adjacent streets that we could watch the house. So somebody could watch one side of the house from inside a building, it'd be a lot less noticeable.
Yeah, clever.
I would suggest that you ask him for ones that he knows are nearby.
Yeah.
And then you look at those and see which ones are close rather than
That's
near the
okay. Looking for something that's near, if he knows of any rooms to rent on this street or any of the streets next to it. And then
he'll give you 5 different houses that he knows of off the top of his head. 2 of them are near, like one's literally like across the street but over 2 houses, and one is probably not the backside but the street after that. So there'd be a building in between you, but you could maybe see the back if you were up on the roof or something.
Well, if there's one that's got an actual view, that would be better anyway. So
yeah, there's one across the street, but 2 houses down.
Which isn't a bad position to watch things from.
It doesn't help you with watching from the back, but from the front, you've got a pretty decent view.
Yes.
I guess we go and talk to the landlord.
Yeah.
How are you guys going to cover the back then? Is that'll help cover the front? How are you covering the back?
Well, we had the position on the roof for the others when we were originally watching out the front. We'd probably do something similar. Although, does this neighborhood have electricity brought into it?
River, roll a d6, and Brad, high or low?
High.
Is he right, River? Did you guys hear her?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, she did in the other thing.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
because my dice have gone missing, so I've been using the dice roller.
The dice roller. Okay, well, there we go. We'll just have we'll have August do it. Roll a d6 and say if it's high or low.
Okay. 6, so high.
Yes, there's electricity, Brad.
Okay, usually that would get brought in along the back alley and in the service alley, so there should be poles around there.
Yes.
Could position on one of the poles looking like a maintenance worker. Wouldn't necessarily work for an extended duration, but at least for an initial casing.
Yeah, you can do that for a day or so. Up to 2, maybe even, as long as you don't try to stay on it all night. At least during the day
If
and if
nothing
you
else,
change and move poles down that alleyway, you could get away with it during the day for a few days.
if nothing else, having that position would allow us to get a high vantage point and find a better spot.
Or set up a little workman's tent, the Victorian equivalent of some cones and and such, and you're working on something and somebody needs to be present to make sure nobody interferes with the complicated electronic gubbins, which gives a reason for someone to be there.
Would have to obtain that
Yeah.
equipment, but yes. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
How many people know exactly what that equipment looks like, as long as you've got a toolbox? And, the appropriate stuff for men at work. But we can talk to the agency about that sort of thing. They may be able to supply us.
Yeah,
Well,
go get it.
in this time
I have the
period,
engineering background, so I should know where to get all of that stuff.
and this time period, you can pretty much walk in and buy almost anything you want. People don't ask for your license for shit, really.
Yep.
So as long as you have a few of the things and you have an engineering thing, I'm sure you can guess what type of things one would need. And then as far as the cost, yeah, you can just turn that in. So I would think that's not going to be a big problem. It doesn't necessarily help at night, though. Well, I mean, I guess if you're living in a tent, it does, doesn't it?
Well, it wouldn't really be like living in the tent. It's really just blocking it off.
Yeah, but we could then rotate people through it as a guard from the electricity board. And other people spend time in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think what they're saying is that at night you have someone who's guarding the area to keep it from getting messed with. Which would then basically be a night watchman or a reason to have somebody there at night. At least for a few days.
I don't even know that they'd necessarily guard it. I mean, you potentially could, but usually with most of that stuff, it's more the sign saying, not only will this kill you, it will hurt the entire time.
Well, but if nothing else, it does give you a vantage point to find another vantage point.
Yeah.
And it's all new enough that nobody's going to be aware, other than probably yourself, nobody's going to be aware of what the standard procedure is for any of this.
They don't have a huge amount of standards yet because it is fairly new.
Exactly.
But somebody else with an engineering degree might be like, but then you're taking the chance. And here's the thing, you guys can take the chance or not that there's somebody with an engineering degree who's going to go, wait a damn minute. I'm on the electric board. We didn't say anything about this.
Well, basically, you don't even really have to have somebody standing around there. You could just, sneak and pop into the tent and just sit there quietly in the dark.
Yep,
keep an eye on stuff. We don't have to announce our
I will
presence.
let you guys decide how you want that done. And then we'll set up who's where, and we'll do some perception rolls and see what you find out.
All right, so first order of business, I think, checking with the landlord.
Yep.
About the room for rent?
Yep.
All right, who's going?
Morgana will go, and I will attack it with diplomacy and my substantial pocketbook.
Okay.
Do you want some company or?
Yes, some company would be great, just in case.
Okay.
We're still at nighttime here, right?
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, by the time you get food, if you eat and stuff, it'll probably be later in the evening, 8-ish, because you're outside watching the house at 5 or 6.
Yeah, so this is all morning stuff. Probably a lot of stuff doing the next morning.
Discussions that night, you go and do stuff in the morning. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next morning, August and Morgana knock on the house across the street and 2 doors down, 2 houses down, 3 houses down. And this older lady shows up to the door. She's an orc, and she's a snark. And her hair has hints of some red and blonde, but it's mostly white. And she's dressed in what was really, really pretty and in style 10 years ago. Like a lot of the neighborhood, it used to apparently have some wealth, but it's a bit run down.
Yeah.
Can I help you?
14 on a first impression. Good day, my good lady. I hear you have a room to rent. I would be interested in doing so.
What's your role for first impressions? Oh shoot! Sorry.
I've got that one as well, so I will attempt to make a good impression also. I'm going to look some Carver in because I can.
Good idea.
11.
It never hurts to help. An 11. Nice. Miss Morgana?
Yeah, first impression 14.
14. Both very nice. And then you wanted to use diplomacy?
Yes, I do.
Get her nice and favorable and then talk nice. Got it.
Yep.
I will smile nicely and say good day. And
she smiles back.
Do the rest.
And you can tell from some of the lines on her face that actually she smiled a lot through her life.
Nice.
Diplomacy 18 from Morgana. She will be
And you ask about the room for rent, and she just, come in. It'll be so nice to have a nice young couple in the neighborhood. Come in. I'll make you tea. Because the natural assumption is 2 people asking about a room together. And she's kind of like all about you two. Like, how long have you been together? Are you planning children? Don't worry, that's not a no for her. She loves the sound of pitter-patter of a baby.
Plans are we're taking everything one step at a time.
Oh, yes. You young people these days, there's so much new. I mean, if you kind of like her hands shake a little bit, but you think it's a from age tremor rather than she's nervous or anything. She's like, look at me. Things are changing a lot these days. Well, I mean, I guess because look at you.
Yes.
But it's okay. This neighborhood, there's several of us in it. Matter of fact, there's a nice man who's a troll. He just lives a few houses down. He's very kind. He takes in orphans.
Always nice when an area
If you
is
can't have a baby, I
charitable
bet you
people.
he could help you.
Well, let's not rush into anything just yet. Well, though we would like to be able to take up the residence as soon as possible.
Oh, yes, come on. And she shows you around. There's like 2 other boarders. There's an older gentleman who's a human, and there's a couple of young women who are sisters renting another room. They're also both human. She tells you that breakfast is included, but dinner and lunch are not. But you're always welcome for tea. And if you want dinner and lunch, she'll charge a little bit more, but it's much better than that thrown together stuff at the pub.
Yes, I will make it clear to her that we keep slightly unpredictable hours.
So then she'll be curious and want to know what type of job you have that has unpredictable hours, because she's an old woman with nothing better to do.
I will suggest it's not really something we can discuss a lot. And
do you work for the government?
Well,
consultancy.
Sometimes, yes. Yes.
Freelancers.
And she kind of what's the thing? You kind of wink and kind of flicks at her nose type of thing. The nudge, right? Oh. They're coming up with fancy new stuff in the government.
I trust you will, of course, assist. We do value our privacy.
Oh yeah, I'm not like some of them old ladies. I keep myself pretty busy. I'm not a busybody. We'll just call this a straight perception-y thing. Both are either of you. Yeah, just a perception thing.
7.
I got a 14 on an acting roll as well. I've just popped it into the chat.
Oh, she totally believes you.
And a 6
even
on
with a 6 and a 7, she's totally a busybody. She's a very sweet, kind-natured, but she a busybody. She a little lady. She ain't got nothing better to do. It doesn't mean to be up in your room at midnight, but yes, what was it? Sorry, what was that?
I'm just going to use empathic sense as well. Bear with me a second while I roll.
Perfect. Go right ahead. But she totally believes you're her husband, or you're Morgana's husband.
Okay. Well, I mean,
good acting. You acted really well.
Blimey, my dice have decided they like him today. 18 on an empathic 18? Sense. Yeah.
She honestly is a very sweet, good-natured. She does not consider herself a busybody. She just is.
Okay.
Morgana will also bring up the fact that we were both.
Please notice that other people have said that they've never seen kids. But somehow this woman knows that there are kids over there because she told you he adopts orphans. She's always watching.
Well, we can pick her for information later. Morgana will also check that it'll be okay for us to sometimes have friends visit, because if one of us is working, sometimes a friend will come around to keep us company. We're not very good. We're still getting used to this idea of, well, being together, and it can be difficult to be alone now, you know?
She's a little confused with that, but since she likes you guys, she's generally okay. She wants to know how many months you want to stay. She's hoping you're going to settle here long term. Because, once you start having babies, it'll be so nice to have little ones around the house.
At the moment, because of the needs of work, would have to just... While it seems very nice and very perfect for our needs, we would have to take the contract on a month-by-month basis for the moment.
Well, she'll sure you'll like it here. So she's okay with just doing 1 month. Because once you have breakfast, which you missed already this morning, she's, sorry. But, I mean, if you want a late breakfast, she can pull a couple things together.
We don't want to impose. If we can get everything sorted here, we have a few things to sort out.
If you're going to make a baby, we got to get a little weight on you. So at least have some biscuits.
Thank you very much.
Oh, come on. You've all met this woman. We've all met this woman. And you can't say anything because, God damn it, she means well so much. So much. So she happily, and she actually does have a contract, which is a little less common in the seedier places. But she can put on there month by month. And this is obviously something that she had someone draw up. If you really read it over, this was not drawn up by a fancy attorney. There's way too many layman terms. But it's enough to get across the idea if you tried to go to court.
Yep.
Which is hard because you have to track the people down and stuff like that. But it's a pretense of somebody at least loves her enough to help her put this together.
Nice.
Excellent.
She'll probably even tell you all about it because it was a tenant a couple of years ago who said she really could use one. But she's really mad. He wrote the thing up, but he never actually paid. And then when she took him to court, he claimed that this contract was the payment. But she doesn't even think he was a real solicitor. Would you believe the judge didn't do anything about it? But she's decided to forgive him because, that's the good way to be. And, she has the contract and she just keeps having copies made of it. Matter of fact, it probably takes you a good 45 minutes to escape her, if not longer. You've now learned about 7 other tenants that she had in that place.
Yep.
None of it is useful information to you.
That we are aware of.
I guess it's true that you are aware of. Maybe there's something else there. Like, I guess you could probe, because the troll's been there for a long time. So, maybe the solicitor's a bad guy and he was working with the troll because he wasn't really a solicitor. Maybe. I don't know. You can always expand on that later. Mm-hmm. But for right now, she chatters sweetly, mentions you two having babies a few more times.
Yes.
And how much you're going to love living here. And that, with you guys keeping weird hours for working for and she does the whole hush, hush, love her. She'd even help watch the baby so she can do, her part for Queen and Country. You won't find another landlord who'll be that kind. She's very sure of it.
I will assure her I completely believe her because she's probably fairly correct.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys escape. It's Team 2, River and Nigel. You guys are off buying the equipment.
Yeah, get the climbing
stuff. Electrician tools.
I'll probably have some amount of it already.
I was going to say, the tools and stuff, you probably have enough of those that you don't have to buy the tools, I would think. Because I know what electrical tools are, and they're pretty common tools.
Yeah, so I should at least have some of that.
There is a bunch of stuff about like rubber sole boots. You want, and don't wear your any rings. And but Nigel will also know all of that shit too.
Yeah.
I don't know if River has like the boots and stuff like that, but they're easy to get a hold of. Even the tent is fairly easy to get a hold of. You can just walk into a place and be like, I'm a new hire, I need to buy stuff. And nobody questions it really. If you think about it, nobody's questioned that stuff for a very long time. Like it was, I think, into the 70s or early 80s before people had to prove that they were an officer before they could buy uniforms. And that was only after some very bad things happened with people who had on uniforms that weren't officers. So it's really easy to walk in this time period and get stuff like that. No issues. Probably by the time the other two have got the apartments, you've gone, gathered anything you needed, done the shopping, and could already be set up in the back, getting ready to climb a pole.
I'm sure mostly because it took them so long to get away from the old lady.
That helped. By the way, every time you see her, you're probably going to lose a half hour to an hour. I will, however, if you're in a rush, allow you to make like a diplomacy check to try to find a way to get out of it quickly without hurting her feelings.
Morgana was likely to try and use the opportunity to gather gossip on people in the local area.
I'm just saying, if you want out quickly, I'll allow you that way you don't hurt her feelings. Otherwise, actually, she's going to be really good for gossip. Like I said, because you talk to some other people and they had no idea that they're children, right? But she knows. She knows probably everything that happens on this damn block.
That makes her a useful human intelligence resource.
It does. But again, she will tell you she's not a busybody. She has a lot to do. She keeps busy watching other people from her front porch. So, and if the weather's bad, from a window chair. Look, there's no TV. What do you want her to do?
Nigel, do you want to climb or do you want to have me climb?
Not sure that it particularly matters.
I would just say all you really need is who's on day watch, who's on night watch. And we'll start doing some perception rolls and see what you guys figure out in a couple of days.
And so River being the one that is usually heavily armed, probably be better for the night watch.
Is that good with Nigel?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So Nigel's on day, River's on night. What about the happily newly married couple?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Look, what do you think she's going to assume?
It's true. It's fine. I said,
but you know what? You could break her heart and tell her you're living in sin. You go right ahead.
No. Morgana's going to find a suitable ring in her jewelry collection to count as her act as a wedding ring.
Oh my gosh! I gotta roll and see if she even noticed that, because I don't think she did.
Well, she won't have noticed because I'll have been wearing gloves when I first arrived.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so which one of you two has day watch? Which one has night?
Flip a coin.
Flip a coin, yeah. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails it is. You can choose.
Oh. I'll take night watch.
Okay. So
this is a gentleman. That's what you like in a husband. I'm just saying. What you're looking for. You're looking for those husband qualities.
He's trying. He tries. He's trying. God loves a trier.
I also presume we'll have a certain amount of crossover as we both happen to be in for some of the time.
Well,
and
because unless you sleep for 12 hours, yes.
And Morgana will do what she can to get as much information on going-ons in the local area. What various people do, because it's interesting to know what our neighbours do for a living. And she will inquire as to how the troll funds looking after these orphans, if she knows, because, well, that sounds like a good cause. And if we have a little bit of spare money, we do like to give to good causes. 17 on diplomacy to just steer her to give me useful information.
All right, we'll do that, and then we'll do the perceptions. All right. So she thinks that he is independently wealthy, that his parents left him the property and money. She is concerned because those poor orphans don't have a mother, and that's probably why you don't see them out and running around. He's too overprotective of a father, and a good mother knows that kids need to be outside running. She thinks that he adopts them out. That's why new ones keep coming in, because the other ones are getting adopted. She also thinks he needs a wife because he's a little gruff, but obviously has a heart of gold because he helps orphans. Let's see. 1 second. Oh, what was it? There's a very good chance that the guy that she was talking about with the contract is definitely not a solicitor, but does know the troll. She thought it was very weird because they obviously knew each other, but then why didn't he just stay at the troll's house? I mean, surely, a couple of the kids could have bunked together instead, right? So she thought that was weird. She thinks that the nun who comes by isn't really good with children, because none of those kids seem happy when she drops them off. I mean, they're going to a nice home. They won't be at the orphanage anymore. And he seems to be really good at finding them permanent homes because he keeps getting more ones in, right? So you think they'd be happier. And again, why is your friend staying here instead of over there? And then they got into a fight about money, she's sure. Because that's probably why he didn't pay her. It's also why you guys had to pay up front for the month, because, it's much easier if you make them pay at least the first month, so you have something to show.
We'll try and get names from people, because once you have a name, it tells you so much about a person.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Frog is in a moor, and Cat is very amorous, and that's a no-no. So they're separated, and he pines. He pines for her right now. So she thinks it's about money because they had some sort of fight, and then he didn't pay up. And she tried to take him to court, to which he didn't have to show up. He wrote a letter into the judge, and the judge just basically told her to go away. but she has his name. And he has an office where he lists himself as Esquire, which is why she managed to find him and take him to court. She thinks that he knew the judge, but she still doesn't think he's a solicitor, which is weird because he has an Esquire law office and he knows a judge, but she still doesn't think he's a. You might also find out that it's pretty frequent that he gets new kids. At least 1 or 2 a month, but at least one. There was 1 year where I guess it must have been really bad because it went almost 2-3 months without new kids. But then he got like 4 or 5. So, I mean, maybe they weren't enough orphans to give him. She was not sure. But typically he gets 1 or 2 orphans a month. And he's been doing this for at least 2 or 3 years. Let's see. Most of the other neighborhood, there's very few owners left. The ones that are, a lot of them are older and they're using it as boarding houses to keep enough money going. The neighborhood's a mix of, because they're mostly renters, but some of them have been long-term renters who've been there for years. There's not a lot of married young couples, which is part of the reason she's so happy to see, because she's positive if you get 1 or 2, that other ones will see it's a nice neighborhood and you'll get more. Be nice, to hear the children running around rather than, him just being a not good father and keeping them in the house all the time. Oh, and there's a lady who comes by. The lady she thinks is a tutor for the kids, because she can't figure out what else it would be. She doesn't dress like a tutor should. If you question the dress, she thinks that the dress is a little too provocative to be a tutor or a proper tutor. Did you have any specific questions you want to steer her towards?
That's covering a lot of what we're wanting. As much towards descriptions of various people involved as I can get, but that's about it.
August, you'll probably see her over the next couple of days. Did you want to try any other specific questions, or you guys think you have the intel you need?
I think that will probably be about enough for the time being.
Okay.
So I can't think of anything else at this moment.
Are we doing 2 days or 3 days?
3?
Yeah.
3? All right. Day people, day 1. 2 rolls. So Morgana and River.
Oh,
Or did River have night? I forgot now.
Are you just
No,
looking?
River had night. It was Nigel.
Yeah, River has night.
Okay,
Are you
so
just
River and
looking
Nigel.
for awareness, or because I'm gonna also want to scope it astrally? Do you want a separate roll for that?
Do separate rolls, but we'll do 2 for both then.
Okay.
Forgot. You'll want to do astral. All right. Let's start with Morgana. What are your 2 awareness rolls?
A 16, briefly channeling the landlady, and then a 6.
You see the guy leave during the day. You know that he does this pretty much every day and comes back with groceries. Because that's what you guys had seen before. He does the same exact thing. If you're out on the porch with the landlady, because there's a good chance that she's not cooking, she's out on the porch because the weather's fine. He'll nod because she'll wave at him. And she calls him by name. And I don't think you guys had heard a name yet.
We hadn't.
She refers to him as Toby. But, oh, sorry. Well, it would be a last name, Mr. Toby. So maybe it's the last name, maybe it's the first name. Because Victorians usually use, hello, Mr. or Mrs. He does not yell hello back or anything like that. He just kind of nods his head curtly and keeps going. Nigel?
Still working on it here, just finishing up.
Oh, no problem.
Okay. Awareness 17 and 16, Astrosight 14 and 15.
Secret house.
I had to throw karma on the astral sights.
That happens. So on the awareness, there's a cold delivery. The guy backs up to the thing and goes down the chute. Astrally doesn't seem to affect the wards. You probably need, what is that, a magic theory to decide why it's not affecting the wards?
Yeah, I don't have magic theory.
Yeah, oh, right, you don't have that. But it didn't seem to affect the wards, so you're not sure why. You also happen to notice that there's a couple of not being cleaned in a long time windows that are very small ones in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see movement in there. Like there's some sort of light going on in that basement that you can see a glow and occasionally like a shadow of something going by it. With those rolls, you're pretty sure that there are children down in the basement. All right, night people.
How many rolls?
2.
Do these count as separate things for ticking them off? I'm trying to do the ticking thing.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I'm trying to remember to do it, but as I said, it's not a natural thing for me to remember.
It is.
20 and 13.
I'm going to throw karma into these.
Nice.
So the first one, 9.
Mm-hmm.
They're not very great. Oh, and the second one, even worse. 7.
And 7?
Yeah.
He comes home in the evening with the groceries and he goes inside. The front doesn't seem to have a lot going on. The curtains are drawn. There's no visitors really. Not much happening there. In the back.
Mm-hmm.
River. So that 20, early on in the evening, a woman comes through the alley. She knocks on the back door. He opens the door. And because you got a 20, you see him hand her something. Like when he goes to shake her hand, he actually is like putting something in her hand. And then she walks in. And you see him basically shake on the hours later on your other one, because you know to watch for it. When she leaves, he shakes her hand again at the door and takes back whatever it was he handed her. Day 2. We'll start with the front. Oh, sorry.
I'm going to take note of any distinguishing features of the lady that had stopped by.
Okay. She's human, fairly petite, but obviously she looks too old for her age. And due to some, other little bells and whistles and look, you're pretty sure she's a user. Probably at least the opium, if not some other stuff too. Blonde hair is kind of dulled. It's not really that it's dishwater, it's that it's literally just dulled with poor nutrition, lack of cleanliness, things like that. Not much else really that makes her distinguished.
Okay.
But you did take note of her features, so if you saw her again, you would recognize her.
I give a description to Nigel and then Morgana and
August.
Yeah.
Daytime, day 2. Morgana.
2 and a 3.
You didn't notice much. You must have been out to the loo.
Or gossiping with the landlady.
Or gossiping with the landlady, yeah.
Or gossiping with the landlady, yeah.
Or flirting with my husband.
Do a roll for gossiping with the landlady.
Diplomacy?
Sure.
$39.
39.
My
some good
D8 went
gossiping.
mad.
That's some good
Ooh,
gossiping.
Okay.
29 on the D8 alone.
You totally missed out on the quote-unquote tutor, because you were apparently talking to the landlady. And the tutor would have been there at about 10 a.m. and she doesn't leave until about 4 in the afternoon. And she only comes today and in like another 3 days. And so she only comes twice a week. But she's sad that you missed it because she's sure you'll have noticed that the clothing isn't appropriate for that type of station. But yes, you find out that basically she comes at 10 in the morning and leaves at 6. And she does it on, what's the day in the game? We on Thursday? Yeah, so it would be Thursday.
No, at this point we would be on Friday because we went to the next day.
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so Friday, and then she'd be back on Monday. Which she also thinks that may not be enough education. But since they're being rehomed in good families so quickly,
We'll try and hang around to see if I can see her leaving. If that was during the day.
There were 3 and 2, you missed it. You were talking to her, but you actually got the same type of information. You kind of will know because
Yeah.
You kind of have a sort of description. You know at what time, and she seems very exact. Like it is this time and that time. Very specific on these 2 days. Oh, also you'll know that she's a tutor because she carries a big bag with her with all the kids' school stuff.
He teaches chemistry.
Just the final product. Nigel, you are going to see some deliveries made. The boxes are put on the side door, or near the side door. And you will notice that, like, basically they ring a bell. He has a knocker on the front door. He has a bell on the side door. And the guy comes up. They talk for a second. They take the stuff back in. Or he takes the stuff in. They never come into the building. And he takes it in and just kind of puts it there. There's another exchange where you're pretty sure money's handed over. And then those guys leave. Now, you also get the name. There's a name on the side of the truck. And I don't think they did license plates like that back then. But you get a name on the side of the truck. Astrally, when he goes in and out, it does not seem to affect the words. You're pretty sure what was delivered was probably whatever they need to make the stuff they're making. River, Nigel wants to know if you have any chance to see if you can find some rats to talk to look around.
Yeah, I can keep an eye out for critters to.
And I think with that, we're on day 3.
Night Watch still has to roll for theirs.
You're Night Watch. Sorry. You're right, Night Watch. Blink. All right. August on Night Watch, and then we'll get to River. Dude, where's my brain today?
So 35 for the first one and 7 for the second one, if we're doing the same as last time.
Ooh,
I have a D6 that is a Firefly D6, and so it's got the Serenity or the Firefly class on the 6th, and it just went
it likes
28. Yeah, it did tonight.
It likes tonight. Maybe not tomorrow night, but tonight it does.
Yep.
So let's see. Oh, where was it? So there's not a lot happening that night. You do notice kind of because I'm assuming you guys are sending notes back and forth, if not catching each other at the pub at lunch or something, to keep everybody updated. So you would have heard from Nigel that there's movement down the basement. And yeah, there are curtains upstairs, but there's no movement really hardly upstairs. Like at some point, you can see the troll moving around in one room because his silhouette's pretty obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see any kids going upstairs. So you think that they're actually kept in the basement the whole time.
Oof.
Because, they're somehow down in the basement. However, you don't see anything at night moving around, so you don't believe, right? River, what do you got? Oh, you might be in the dice.
So, 14 and 11 for my awarenesses, and 7 to talk with any of the animals that are in the area.
So the 14 and 11 at night, you don't notice much. There just doesn't seem to be a lot going on. You will notice, because you are kind of partially looking for it, there is still some movement down in the basement, but there's no light. So, or very little. It's almost as if he put them to bed by basically taking away their light source and saying, go to sleep. And now they're in the dark. Talking with rats, I don't know that you really get much more from the rats than, yeah, somebody brings in the stuff, and from the description it sounds like coal. And then there's a floral scent, which you're pretty sure is the poppies. Otherwise, they're just not terrifyingly helpful. To a degree, like, maybe they know that there are children in there because children smell different, and they think it's kind of weird because, you know, who's in there, they're never outside. They don't go in there very much because the whole place smells a little funny.
Yeah.
And children catching them kind of bites, and they don't like that. So, and that basement's always filled with children. Always. Yeah, they don't like going into it. Because they would usually like to go through the basement, but there's always the kids in the basement, which makes it very hard to be sneaky. And, you know, there's not a lot of scraps either. Like, whatever they're feeding those kids, they ate all of it. Day 3. Morgana?
Give me a moment. A 4 and a 10.
Stop gossiping with the landlady.
What was it?
A 4 and a 10 for my 2 rolls.
Well, you're lucky when the 10 is placed. Because if those were switched and it was a 10 and a 4, this would have been sadder. But with the 10, at least, you notice a steam coach come in that's definitely fancier than a delivery thing. And because of what this is, go ahead, Brad, and give me yours, because you're going to be able to see part of this because it's on the side of the house.
Bear with me, I'm rolling here.
Yeah, you are correct. They're not going to trigger the wards. The rats aren't. And there's definitely ways for them to get in. They just don't like going in. She can always try again, but she can communicate. She can't necessarily make them do stuff. And yes, words versus people, not animals, very possible. Quite frankly, in this case, they wouldn't think to bother with it being against animals because they didn't think that far ahead. Because I think you have communicate, not like command animals, right?
Correct. I can only talk.
Yeah.
I
And
have
it
not
smells
picked up
funny. There's a
animal
lot
bond
of
yet.
children. Most animals actually don't like the smell of drug making stuff. It smells kind of poisonous to them, so they don't like it. All right.
There, I got my
So
results down there.
the 23. So you are seeing this steam coach. It is a bit fancier. Your awareness is a bit higher than Brad's by, more than 12. You notice that there's nothing that marks this from a church. In most churches, put stuff like, the church name or something on the side of their stuff, right? So the woman who comes out is wearing a habit. She's wearing what a nun would wear, but nothing on the steam coach denotes it from being from any place in specific, Catholic church or not, which is weird. You also notice that the kids She pulls out 3 kids. And they don't look happy. They don't look excited to be going to a home, anything like that. There's a little girl in the group who can't be more than 3, 4. And she is just crying, saying she wants her mama. And basically the nun, quote unquote, leans down and whispers something to this little girl. And the little girl does stop crying, but not because she seems soothed. She seems afraid. The nun goes up to the door, to the side thing. She rings the bell, just like the delivery guy. And he steps outside, looks at the kid, points at the 4-year-old who seems terrified, and seems annoyed at the 4-year-old. Nigel, I'll give you this. He seems to be annoyed because from what little bits of things that you're catching, he thinks it's too young and scrawny, and those never last. And the nun basically says something like, beggars can't be choosers. Take what I can find you. He gets really pissy. Money is exchanged. And then he takes 3, and you're having a hard time seeing this part, Morgana. But he takes what looks like 3, we'll call it small charms on strings, like necklaces, puts one on each of the kids' heads, and ushers them inside, and he goes inside. And it does not seem to affect the wards. Did I screw it up again? I thought Nigel. Oh, so glad Nigel. Oh, okay. I had it right. Okay.
You're good.
No,
okay.
no.
So that's what you guys have.
Because from that vantage point, 365 grains of diplomacy.
Yeah, no, I thinking something's gonna happen here. So seeing this going on, I will wake River.
River, it's not that early for you because this happened in the later afternoon. So you did get some rest.
I'll wait till the delivery's being made, so the truck is just about ready to depart before I wake River, and I will let her know something's about to happen here. Get ready.
1 second, wait, Nigel, really quick, because you're very focused on the one thing, but your awareness was pretty high. The nun was not the person driving. So there's at least some man driving, and there's somebody else who's still in the steam coach. Neither of them got out with the nun, but you know that there's at least 2 people with her.
So there's at least 3 people, including the nun, that are going to be in the van.
Yes.
Okay.
So figure you might want to know that for any plans you're making.
Can I do a separate astral sight on that? Because I should at least just be able to detect how many people are there by their auras.
Yes.
Okay, let me roll that real quick. Hang on, I gotta remember which. Yeah, it is. 10 sufficient for that? I'm not looking for any detail, just to know how many are there.
Yeah. There seems to be a driver. There seems to be 2 others still in the steam coach, the nun, and of course the troll. So there are 5.
The troll's going back into the building.
Yeah, he went back into the building. So there are 4 people outside the building.
So there's 4 people outside that are manning the vehicle.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm
looking 3 people manning the vehicle and a nun. So, but yes.
Right. But yeah. Okay, that's fine.
I would wake up River.
Yeah. So,
I just want to make sure because that would be something you'd want to know.
Yeah. So I will wake up River, let her know to be ready. And
Okay.
I'm going to climb the pole so I can get as high of an vantage point as possible. When I'm up there, I'm going to do my send message and let Morgana know. Morgana's on the day watch, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I will shoot the message to Morgana. Delivery truck is about to depart. They're going to have an accident.
Oh. Oh my. Okay.
And I'm going to wait until the vehicle starts to leave.
Okay. So it actually doesn't back out. It continues forward and then turns in the alley. And there's a second where it sees your guys' tent and it's like, fuck it, and they have to go the other way.
That's
and
fine.
so they start down the alley, the direction away from your tent.
So when it's close,
how far do you let them go?
When it's close, I'm going to drop a spell casting on there, and I'm going to cast my control equipment thing, control device.
Okay, I'm going to give you a step. Now I'm going to give you 2 steps up, because I'm assuming you've been reading the spell for the last round or 2 while they move their vehicle.
Yeah, like I'm prepared for this to happen.
So I'm going to give you 2-step advantage on it because you are prepared. You've had time to focus and center yourself.
Okay, cool. Then let me adjust my dice. That should be
because I can do that type of thing. And I feel like Nigel would be pretty serious that this is something like this is happening.
Yeah. River is going to be ready to rush out and incapacitate people with... she'll probably do it quiet with the axe.
Okay.
Alright, well I got a 16 on the spell casting, so that's against... It should just be a 6, but basically it's just against the spell defense of the vehicle. I'm assuming it's not enchanted.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's against the steam coach, so 16's more than enough. You probably even have a couple of raises.
That's fine. So
I don't know if raises matter on this, but
I'm going to wait until it's about to exit the alley.
Okay.
We'll get it out from the buildings, and then it's just going to floor it into the nearest pole or lamppost or hydrant or whatever is a very solid emplacement that's going to damage this thing.
Okay. So I'm going to pause that really quick. Sorry. Go ahead. Finish that statement.
Just running it at max speed.
Got it. So
if
so River is headed in that direction because you want to be close enough. You want to be closer to it when they do hit. What did on the other side? Because there's a couple of rounds, a few moments here.
Yeah.
You get this message, Morgana, which I think translated to, "Oh, they're going to have an accident real soon." What does Morgana do?
If August is present or upstairs in the room, I will go and make sure he's aware that things may be happening, and then probably be ready to rush out and help, in inverted commas.
Do you start in the direction you think that the accident, quote unquote, will happen?
Probably,
so that
yes.
It gets you a little bit that way.
Yeah, and I said if
August
August
as a stroll, we'll give August a second. Is it a stroll or is it oh goodness run?
I was going to say this is the afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah. It will wake if you're home. It'll wake you up a little early, but not crazy.
He's probably catching some Z's. Or trying
so you get woke up to. I don't know what's happening, but Nigel says they're about to have an accident. Or actually, why don't you? What do you tell August? That's better.
Firstly, that the nun is here in a steam car doing a delivery. because we're aware the nun delivers kids.
Mm-hmm.
And Nigel says the steam car's about to have an accident.
Okay, I'll get my shoes on. Because he will be sleeping in his clothes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he doesn't want to be improper around Morgana.
Indeed. Because they are not actually husband and wife.
Never let the landlady know. All right. Do you guys at least kind of rush in the direction you think you should be going?
Probably go out, start as a stroll as soon as we hear anything, improve it to a rush.
All right. So you guys are probably about halfway there at a quick pace, but not running, when heading back over. Because, River, you're going to be in about the same boat of about halfway down this alley to where the accident's going to be, right? Because you're on foot. Nigel, you have a lovely view of your mayhem. So all of a sudden, not that you can hear the what the and cursing that happens inside, but for whatever random reason, this steam coach has decided to floor itself, and instead of the slowing down that the guy had tried to do before going into that intersection, and it has rammed one steam coach, spooked two horses, and basically plummeted itself into a lamppost. The lamppost is kind of bent and leaning towards a building. May or may not fall the rest of the way. We're not sure yet. It has like sunk in part of the front of this machine. You also can't hear the thud of the driver face hitting stuff because there weren't really seatbelts. And the windshield is definitely cracked because you're pretty sure that was that dude's head. You also can't hear, you can probably hear the screaming and whatnot. And also there's a lot of smoke coming up from the machine, which may or may not catch on fire. But there's also a lot of there's a lot of going on because it did hit another steam coach and caused it to spin and caused it to hit some like a table from some outdoor bistro or something, or maybe it was a market stall. You don't know. It's very knocked over at this point. Those people seem to be okay, but the driver from that definitely has a bump on his head and is cursing up a blue storm about the other driver because, right? And the person's trying to get a hold of the horses, trying to get the horses calmed down. And anybody who was anywhere near that intersection, one, freaked out because they thought they were going to get hit, and or two, oh my gosh, and are trying to, because there are good people who are trying to check on some of the drivers and people and this stuff. And there's a lot of people who are just kind of watching, rubbernecking. But that's an accident that just happened. That vehicle's not moving for a bit. So, initiative? Or are we trying this in a different way?
Well, I suppose it depends on if they're coming out swinging.
They are not coming out swimming because they honestly have no idea what just happened. Like, it doesn't seem to have...
Okay, actually, I suppose I should probably...
That first round or two, they really don't know what happened. Like, it's a, oh my gosh, my head.
Honestly, we should probably clarify this as, does River come out swinging? Because River's probably going to be the first one there.
I would suggest that we try and take control of it in a calm manner. But
yes.
Of course, I'm still coming around the corner, as it were.
So yes, for the first round, at least, if not the first two rounds, they don't know what happened. They just got whammied and they're very confused. I will not promise you that someone in there doesn't figure it out in a couple of rounds. But for the first round or two, they are bamboozled. The driver's actually not in great shape, to be honest. It turns out smashing your face into the windshield is painful and hurts your brain.
considering they're delivering children to their deaths, I'm not exactly busting up about this.
So I will approach and quietly, don't let them know, but we need to apprehend them. They are. I'm with the police. We have witnessed them delivering abducted children. We need to apprehend them. Just stay out of the way, or if you can help capture them.
The passerbys?
Huh?
Who are you saying that?
The ones trying to help the drivers. The people that are trying.
So the people who are trying to help in the bad steam coach people.
Yep.
The people who are trying to help them.
Yep.
So, and I now have to make reception rolls for the 3 who are not completely foobarred at the moment. Because the driver's not terrifyingly useful right now. All right. Okay, good to know. All right. So let's get initiative. Anybody else doing something before initiative?
I was just climbing back down and running up to follow up river. I mostly just got up on there so I could get a good vantage
Give me a
point to see where they
perception.
were.
Actually, it's interesting. Give me a perception, because you'd be the closest to get to the thing and river.
Okay. Let me roll that real quick before I do initiative.
Yeah. Because
14 and 22 and 27.
oh well. Okay, so you hear River about to say what she's about to say. Are you okay with her saying that?
Yeah, I
Or
don't
do you
have a
try to
problem
stop
with stopping the passersby, because I'm figuring we're taking these people in.
Okay. So I just want to make sure, so you know that she says, so she's talking to people. All right, so we're back to initiative
doing
then.
this away from the house where the kids are,
Right.
so that they weren't aware.
Right, but now the passerbys are aware.
Well, the passerbys
But also,
passerbys are aware, but the
but
guy in the
also
house
anybody in the vehicle that's not completely out of their heads from the crash could also be aware.
Yeah, but they're going down, so
It doesn't matter that they know they're going down. That's
we
fine.
do at least need to bring them in for questioning. So
My tush, they just deliver children to their death.
Hey. They can still answer questions with lead in their knees.
That is totally acceptable in this case. I'm good with that.
Okay, River. We know we told you don't start with shooting, but today and today only, it's your birthday. It's your birthday.
Hey, two weeks ago too.
2 weeks ago, and now today, it's your birthday. Go have a good time. It's right, like I'm saying.
Look, yeah.
And in River's defence, in River's defence, that was August that did start that shooting a couple of weeks ago.
And this is people child trafficking, and that was a fairy that was reducing people down to fat, for the red root people down for their lard and selling them. We have fairly reasonable lines, I think, about the point where we let River off the chain. I don't think we're ridiculous, right?
The point is, we have an advantage now because they were just in a car crash. We're good now.
You do have an advantage right now. All right. So I have River at a 7. Who else do I got, and where I got you?
Oh, I still got to roll. I was busy with that awareness. 1 second.
I figured I'd roll when I get there.
I'm on a 9.
If Morgana is getting there a 17 this round at 17.
Ooh.
As my dice go crazy.
So I've got a 17. So I've got Morgana, Nigel, River. Sorry, what was yours, August?
I figured that I was a little bit behind Morgana because I had to put my shoes on.
What was your roll?
Oh, my roll. I will just do that now. 6.
6. Okay. So, and you're after River. So, Morgana, you're kind of hitting the scene first-ish. You may have overheard River telling passerbys that we're trying to help to shoo fly away. The driver is not out of the vehicle. His face is bashed in. He's not totally with it. There are the 3 people inside the vehicle, and they seem to be maybe trying to get out of the vehicle. But you are now there. What are you doing?
Putting myself in a position where they are, I can be overheard and suggest that people come out of the vehicle and not resist. It would work out best for them.
All right. Nigel?
Morgana will have her. Morgana will have her sword, her rapier, with hidden in her umbrella, readied to be drawn as she does need to defend herself, but isn't pulling a blade out blatantly as yet.
Okay. Nigel?
I am being a smart mage and staying at the back. I am going to hold action, but I am ready to, throw down firepower as needed. Assuming these people probably aren't going to come quietly.
Would you go quietly if you were them? I mean, first thing you want to do is get the heck away if you can, but... All right, River?
We can dream.
River? You shooed most of the innocent, helpful bystanders back and away. And you have the turn.
So I'd be coming at it from the back. See Morgana to the driver's side, so I will circle towards the passenger side, keep an eye on both of those, and wait for them to come out peacefully and ready to bash them if they don't.
That's smart, because if you all stayed on one side, I guarantee you I'd have used that thing for cover and have them go out the other. Saying. Totally would have. August.
I'll go up to potentially back up Morgana if she needs assistance.
Okay. So this round, they really don't have their wits together enough to do anything. Being slammed that hard hurts and is jolting. New round. Unless anybody who saved his action wants to do anything that round. Because they can't.
And unless there is none to punch, I will hang up. Emerging to be punched, I will hang off my action.
Okay.
Well,
so next round.
Hang on. Because if I can see her moving around in there, I could, pull her out.
You can. Yes, you can. The windows aren't tinted so dark that you can't see movement. There are definitely 3 figures back there.
Well, I saw what the nun looks like, so I should, if I can see her, then I can recognize her. So yeah, then I will. Let's see. Is there an opening where I can pull her out through, and then something I can pull her to stick her to?
I mean, okay, so the doors are all still closed. There is the cracked partial. I'm sure there's probably somewhat of a hole in the windshield. You could pull her through. Can you pull her through the door, or would that just kill her, or just slam her into the door?
I mean, I could just pull her into the door too. That would certainly make it harder for the rest of them to escape out the door.
Yeah, for them, they haven't even had an action enough to open the door. They are simply, what the happened? So you could pull her into the door. You could try to pull her through the windshield. You could probably pull her through the windshield and into that pole if you roll well enough with it.
I think pulling her into the door is probably better because that will follow up the other ones trying to escape.
Okay.
Alright, so then I need to roll against her spell defense. Get to those dice. I'm going to throw karma on that because one of those down-ended. That puts me at a 9. Should hopefully beat her spell defense.
Yes, it does.
Alright, and then...
She has a 7. In case that comes up again.
Well, that did much better. That's a 15 for the strength of the pull.
So passenger side or driver side, just in case.
Let's go passenger side.
Okay. So she gets pulled and kind of slammed into the passenger side, and you hear like because it's from inside the vehicle, so kind of a muffled yelp. So now new initiatives.
5 for Morgana.
I'm on a free.
I'm on 4.
Oh,
So I got Nigel.
5 also.
Okay, Nigel and August arm wrestle for it. Then River, then Morgana.
No, I got a 5.
Yeah, but I think Nigel did too.
No,
Oh,
Morgana
sorry.
got a
I'm on
5
a
as well.
3.
You're on 3. No, it's River. Who else had a 5? I thought somebody else had a 5.
Morgana had a 5.
Okay, so yeah, you two arm wrestle, then River, then Nigel. Actually, I think it goes by which one of you has the better decks.
I think we both have Dex 13. I have a sneaking suspicion.
Honestly, it's at that point, it's just whatever the players want to do.
It's whichever one you guys want to do.
16.
Go back to arm wrestling.
Okay.
Oh, you've got high Dex. Feel free.
All right. So let's see. How did they roll? Good to know. All right. The driver, he's opened the car door and has kind of fallen out of the car. But pretty much what he actually does is he throws up. Anybody with medical might consider that he probably has a severe concussion. And the snark comes out the driver's side. That look like someone's trying to get out the passenger side, but the woman is in the way. But he doesn't get to complete his action yet.
That was the plan.
And she's not moving, so he can't get to that door handle. It's kind of a pain in the face. August?
Can we arrest them? Does citizens arrest exist at this time?
No. Didn't mean it didn't happen. I mean, let me rephrase that. In the U.S., like the Pinkertons, technically didn't have any lawful right to arrest people. They did it all the time. People kind of, whatever that as far as the courts went, because the rights for the criminals weren't really in place, like Miranda rights and things like that. I would assume that England had the same general problem. Like, technically, can you arrest them? No, you're not a cop. Did anybody care or intervene necessarily? Don't know. But my guess would be probably not. But you guys might actually know more about historically on that than I do.
A citizen's arrest is a lawful form of lawful custody, and anyone attempting to flee may be guilty of attempting to escape from lawful custody. Furthermore, the offence of assault with intent to arrest or lawful apprehension of detainer of himself may apply if the arrestee assaulted the arrestee under Section 38 of the Offences Against the Person Act, 1861.
Oh.
So I believe
citizens' arrests do exist.
Citizen's arrest, but we may be liable as a police officer, or slightly more liable than a police officer, if we are seen as assaulting the arrested person.
You're not allowed to unduly beat them.
Unduly beat them. That's a good choice of words that seems remarkably reasonable for Victorian justice.
In that case, then I will attempt.
There's a wide range in that unduly.
Well, that's unduly by Victorian standards.
Right?
In that case, then I will attempt to suggest that they are under arrest. And they should come quietly.
The snark who got out on the driver's side, which is actually, I'm thinking an American car. You two are on the passenger side. The driver's side would be the other side.
I don't think it wouldn't be firmed up at this point.
Oh, okay. Well, then
mostly
fine.
The driver would sit fairly centrally.
Okay, so you're on the one side the driver came out, and that the snark came out.
Yeah.
What he says to you, August, in response, well, Brad would be mad at me for repeating. Because I've already cussed at least twice.
I probably wouldn't be mad. It would be YouTube that gets mad.
So YouTube would be mad at me for repeating what they said. But,
also,
what
side
he said
point
was not.
for driver-passenger side, most likely they would base it off of how steam engines are based, which is where the driver sits on the right side, so that you can control the regulator.
But yeah, I Americanized it and went with what I thought was.
Well, in this case, we're guessing it's in the middle, and the driver's side is now the side the driver got out of him. So, going with that.
Honestly, it doesn't matter that much.
That it's the other side, but yeah. Darn, everybody puts things on the wrong side. So yes, no, his response to August was not you two acceptable. It was rude. And definitely not a yes, please take me away. Because all you did was technically say something. If you want a response action, you just say so and it's yours.
How physically able does this snark look after the accident? Is he beat up or from that a bit, or does he seem reasonably robust?
He's probably beat up a bit, but he doesn't look all that injured. More like he got tossed around a bit, but not.
Okay.
Probably some bruises that haven't started to show yet.
In that case, then I will move towards him with a view of attempting to put his arm behind his back, because he's probably stronger than me. So if I can at least do that, then that will...
An unarmed attack.
Even the odds up a little bit, maybe? Yes, an unarmed attack. Because I picked up some unarmed combat because I went and practiced. Can I put Karma in optional skills?
No, I think that'd be core.
No, that's fine.
Core or professional?
Core professional, correct.
That's fine.
Unless the skill is Karma required, in which case you have to spend Karma in order to use it.
Sadly, it says no. 2d6.
Just no.
Yeah. Karma says no. Oh, not very good. 4. Wouldn't get past my physical defense.
Yeah, no, it does not. He's kind of like, wait, what? Stop trying to touch my butt. Like, leave me alone. Okay, maybe not quite that bad. All right.
I caress his cheek. No, that would be a 1.
Sorry. Morgana.
If there are valid targets, otherwise I'm going to wait for someone getting out, and unless August would like
You
a hand
have
with
the
that guy.
guy. You have the guy that August tried to.
Yeah.
I don't know, hold hands with. Basically tried to grab the guy's arm to move it behind his back, and the guy just like jerks his arm like, what the hell? What are you doing? So you have a viable target right there.
Yep.
You could also do something bad to the guy puking on the floor. Round, but
he's less of a problem at the moment. So the guy who's gone out, I will clonk him over the head with the butt end of my umbrella as a melee weapons attacking to stun.
Okay. Let's hear that attack roll.
Give me a sec.
He's getting pummeled.
Pummeled.
An 11.
I'll give it to you. Because he's slightly injured. He has a wound.
Also, if he's on the ground, you could probably just consider him knocked down, in which case he has a -3 on his defenses.
He's not on the ground. He got out of the vehicle, but he's not on the ground. The driver's on the ground.
Oh, the driver's not. Okay.
Driver's on the ground throwing up. This guy got out.
Though showing that Morgana's been learning many things from spending times with old biddy buddies. Beating someone with a brolly obviously works for her today. 16 on damage, and that will be called a stun damage. So
nice.
So can't wound him. Can knock him down if it beats his wound threshold, but
it
won't
does.
kill him.
But I think it also counts as creating another wound.
Yeah, it doesn't. He doesn't take a wound.
So he'll take another wound because he took one wound in an accident.
He doesn't take a wound from that because it's stunning. So
stun damage.
Yeah. No, but you still get the knockdown effect. So
works for me.
Smack him in the face by half drawing the blade from my umbrella, probably.
That'll leave a whelp. All right.
We're arresting you, dear. Stop resisting.
He'll probably have
River.
a big cartoon bump on his head.
Little Tweety birds and some stars floating around there.
Do I have to open the door to get to the fake nun, or can I just pull her through the window?
Well, you'd have to bash the window because the windows are up. So you'd have to bash the window to pull her out, or you have to open the door.
Open the door and grab hold of her, grapple her.
So you open the door and you grab her. I need a strength check.
Because grapple goes off of unarmed combat.
Yes, but she's magically glued to the door, and to do anything, you have to pull her off the door, which is, I believe, was that a 15 or a 16, Nigel, to keep her through the door? 15. So you have to beat the 15 strength to get her off the door, because she can't get off the door.
There was somebody else behind her, though, that was trying to get out, correct?
Yes. If she wants to grapple him, she can.
So that
but the woman,
you can go there.
Yeah, I'll open the door, ignore her dangling from it, and try to pull him out.
Just
Okay,
open the door.
that-
She's plastered to it. Like, oh, okay. Grab the other guy.
Right? Okay, wait. Wasn't that exactly what you did?
No, that is exactly how it happened. It's just funny to imagine.
Okay.
Open the door. Oh, and then grab the other one.
Which is probably even worse for her because now she's even more wigged out. I just want you to know. But I do believe you basically magically glued her to the door, so when that door gets open, she's still glued to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I missed grabbing him.
Well, that's reasonable. You're slightly distracted by the nun stuck to a door.
Oh, no. You didn't miss. You botched. You want to tell me what happens? What do you? Because that's not just a simple miss. That's a botch.
Touch the chair.
No, that's not as fun. How about he ends up grappling you? You go to get him, and he now has you in like a headlock.
Okay.
With a gun to your ribs. Tell him to back off. Which goes to Nigel, who has last initiative on this round.
All right. So
Nigel, you go, and it looked like she was going to go for the woman. And then she notices the woman is dangling from the door and is like, okay, well, that's weird. And grabs the guy, except for somehow, instead of going left, she went right, and he ends up, now he's got her.
all right. Well, he probably shouldn't be electrocuted because that would get River.
That would probably, yeah.
Let's see. Are they out of the vehicle at this point, or is he still?
Yeah. I'm going to say that he's out of the vehicle, but barely.
Okay, I'm
Like-
gonna gravitic draw
He's
on him
probably
and
still
pull him into
touching
the
it.
ground.
You're going to try to pull him into the ground?
Yes.
Okay.
So I got 13 on beating his Mystic Defense.
Yep.
And that is a 14 on the spell effect.
River, I need a strength check.
Four.
So he goes floomp, but he still has a hold of you. So now you're kind of pinned under him, and it feels like he's pushing down hard on you. Because he still had a hold of her when he went floomp down. He has, however, still got a hold of you. He's not happy about this. New round, new initiative.
He's at least not gonna run away. I'm on 6.
River, which of those rolls is your initiative?
6.
Oh no, it's 6. It's a 6. I got it. Wow, am I dumb some days? All right. River has a 6. What did Nigel have?
I had 6 as well.
Okay. You two figured that out. Morgana?
Base 18.
Morgana got a 2.
August?
9.
Okay. August, you're first.
I will attempt to do what I was trying to do last time and see if I can make the snark more uncomfortable. Come on, Firefly D6, be nice to me.
I mean, he's probably uncomfortable with what you did last time, too.
And he's prone now.
16.
Nice.
That's good.
My Firefly dice was nice to me. Woohoo!
You have that arm, and you've got it up and back and cinched.
Excellent.
So you got a good hold on him. It's his turn. Give me a strength roll, August.
Okay.
Well, you don't think he wants to be held by you like this? I'm just.
He might not.
I do believe he's going to try to get out from that.
So it goes against that 16. Unarmed combat or strength test against that 16.
Oh, goes into 16? Okay.
Against the attack roll that caused the grapple.
Okay.
I was just looking at the grapple rolls for myself.
Although I did roll a 7 on my D8, so I'm quite pleased with that.
That's good.
Stronger than he looks.
And using good technique based on that 16 roll.
Yeah.
You're using good technique. And you keep a hold of him, but he is struggling pretty, like it was a barely that you kept a hold of him.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems pretty angry right now.
Quite lively.
Quite lively. My 6s.
All right, well, River, what are you trying to do? And then I can either end spell effects or do something else to help.
Because he has me grappled, I can only try to escape.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to get myself
It's
ungrappled.
really hard being smushed.
Yeah, I'm not. RNGesus is not on my side.
Huh. No, you got another one.
Yeah.
Not only are you still there, but he's managed to get that gun up higher somehow while you were squirming, so that you can kind of feel it just kind of near your neck and chin meet. My other 6, Nigel.
All right. Can I see that he's got his gun raised?
Do a perception awareness to see if you notice that he got it moved up to neck head range.
That would be a 16.
Yeah, you notice it.
All right, then I am going to step over. I will put a knee down into his neck, draw my gun, put it against his head. I suggest you drop that.
I can kill her before you can kill me. And if I'm already dead, take her with me.
Yeah, but I have initiative.
And it's his turn. You do. So, are you doing anything else? Because that is his response to you.
Well, if he's not being compliant...
No, he isn't.
Let's see. Ooh, I do have something I can do.
Okay, I was going to say, remember, River is directly below him. So if, like, you shoot him, unless this is very interestingly well lined up, there's a very good chance you're hitting River.
Yeah, I was hoping that I could get him to back up, but if he's not, I do have something I can do. I have resistance, which will conjure a magical shield. I can cast that and just cast it directly in front of the barrel of his gun. And basically just block a bullet so that he can't shoot. Or if he does, it's going to hit the shield and It would have to break through the shield barrier before it could do anything to River.
All right.
All right. So for that, I need spellcasting against an 8. I got a 13.
Okay.
And then Ring plus Will for the barrier rating. Oh wait, but I get. Actually, I need to roll that as. This. Okay, so that would be a 14 on the barrier rating, so it'd have to do more than 14 damage to break through.
Got it. Okay. It is his turn. Seeing that you're not backing off, he pulls the trigger. So the 14 goes against the damage. It doesn't affect his shot. His shot's still going against her physical.
Correct.
Okay. River, what's your physical?
Knockdown 7.
5 assist success.
I'm sure he's probably harried at this point too, so they might just cancel out.
He gets 1 success. Let's move that. So.
Does knockdown apply negatives to attacking too?
Yes. Mine's 2. Mine's 3 to all actions, I think.
Let me double check, but I believe that is correct. And like I said, with me standing on him and with the spell effect, he's probably harried as well.
Well, he is, but he just has to pull the trigger. So even Harry, and this is something he's good at. He's not a nice man. So he has 1 success against her. It's now just I have to roll for damage and then subtract out the 14. The hope is that he doesn't roll very good damage. And by the way, River, you're having a lot of trouble doing anything because you have that guy's weight, Nigel's weight, and the spell all smushing down on you, which is got to be really frustrating for River. Like, she seems like the type that this would tick her off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're sort of lucky. You only took 6 points of damage.
Okay, so I only take 3.
See? Now, does that... Because it took all 14 points from the shield barrier. So... Okay. The lady is now cursed... Sorry, it looks like it's in a nun's habit, but those are not nun habit words. Is cursing up a blue storm, trying to get off the door, but just so you know, she did not beat that spell yet. Her strength isn't so good, and she got banged up pretty good, and she is pretty much about as stuck as River at the moment. Which means... No, I think that's it, right? No.
No, Morgana will attempt to help continue knocking out the orc that August is wrestling with.
Although you would have heard the gunshot go off.
You definitely would have heard the gunshot go off.
She will step round the car and attempt to knock out the guy who's just shot River in the midst of that pileup.
Going around the car would actually probably take longer than just going through the back seat at this point.
That's acceptable.
So you're going to basically lunge through.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you see on the other side is the nun seems to be flailing on the door. Nigel has a knee in the back.
Yeah.
You have a gun out, Nigel?
Oh no, I said knee on the neck.
Sorry, knee on the neck. He has a knee on the neck. Do you have a gun out?
Yes, I have my gun to his head.
Yeah, so Nigel has a knee on the guy's neck, a gun to his head. This guy is, yeah, you can just tell this is not a nice man. But he also has a gun to River, and you can see some blood. And River actually is not necessarily all that bad hurt, but head, face, neck wounds, they bleed a lot. So even a small one produces a bit of blood. And she's squished underneath all of that.
Right.
So what are you going to try to do?
I'm going to attempt to knock him out. Again, using the handle of my sword as a melee stun attack.
Do not get a 1.
Yeah, because then you'd probably hit me.
Probably.
31. So there was a 1, but there's a 30 in front of it.
Nice.
Because he's pinned and everything, that's like 4 successes.
Ooh.
You said 30, as in 31. Like
yeah, 31.
He's pinned. He can't dodge super well, and even though he's a fairly tough, yeah, no, that's like 4 raises, darling. Almost 5.
32 damage.
Shoot! Good darn!
Morgana's been beating people into unconsciousness, miscreants into unconsciousness with umbrella lessons from the old lady she's been spending time with.
I'm trying to kill
More
River.
skill in them. Yeah.
He did not need another wound. That is not helping me kill River. Because I don't think you get multiple wounds, because it's still just 1 hit.
You do not.
Because he would have, because that's mean. Okay, fine. So Nigel, that went really close to where your hand and head were, but it was well placed, and like that was a solid thud. Like you can hear the thud and the bells ringing in that man's head. And with that, we are at new initiative.
I got a 4.
Okay. So, what were you trying to do with the 4?
Well, that's largely going to depend on what everybody else gets, so that's just my initiative.
Oh, initiative. Oh my goodness, where's my brain today? I don't know. I lost it.
I see your 4 of initiative, and I raise you 5.
All right.
I'll see you at 5.
I got a 4. August at a 5. Where are you at, Morgana?
10 for Morgana.
You said a 5 for Morgana?
No, 10. 1-0.
10. River?
9.
All right, so 10, 9. Okay. The guy who's puking, and I guess the only person on this side right now is August, seems to have kind of cleared his head enough, looks at the situation with you and the guy, the orc you have, Stark you have, and starts to try to run off. I will say this. He's kind of stumbling, knocking into some people, falls to his knees, gets back up. So his, double movement type of, I'm going to go as fast as I can, doesn't get him as far as one would think. Because he ain't so good right now. But he is trying to flee the scene. Now you go on your 10. Morgana. You're on the other side.
Not as good this time, a 13.
That still hits right now. A lot, actually. Yeah. So that's still a solid hit. How much damage?
Any raises on it?
I'll give you a raise on it. He is so pinned and he's so beaten at this point.
At
Poor
12.
guy. Ow. Oh.
Just be arrested. You horrible man.
He don't look so good. He does not. River! You're very smushed and very tired of being smushed.
I will wait for I'll look at Nigel and be like, hey, can you let me up? And just wait for his initiative.
Okay. 5, 10, that's my 9. All right. My 5. Set.
I will continue attempting to contain the snark.
I think you can just maintain the 16 on that because you don't need to make another roll.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, you can totally maintain the 16 because it's a pretty good roll.
Excellent.
You're keeping him held. You do see the other guy stumbling off.
Mm-hmm. Has anybody else? Nobody's done anything towards him yet, have they?
No, but he got banged up pretty bad. Like, he actually has a very severe concussion right now, which is part of the reason he's having trouble running away.
Also mentioning my spell effects only last for 3 rounds, so the effect on the nun will end at the end of this round.
Okay.
The effect on the other guy will end at the end of next round unless I end it early.
And I think we are to you, Nigel.
All right. Well, given that River is wanting to be let up, I will go ahead. I'll go ahead and end the spell effect, and I'll step away. Are we getting a notice of the other guy running?
You might. I don't know. I don't know if August said anything. On your end, so she's still glued to the thing. He hasn't taken his round yet, but you've stepped off.
Yes.
You've ended the spell smushing him. You've gotten off of him. So he is down, but he's no longer being pinned down. Right?
Yes.
Okay. He's going to roll off of River and try to shoot Nigel. What's your physical defense, Nigel?
Well, is his initiative before mine? Because I should still have my move.
His is after yours, so that's what I'm saying. His is after yours. So if you got off of him, he's going to roll off of River and try to shoot you.
Right, but I still have my move. So what?
Well, you moved off of him.
Right, but
I thought your movement was you were getting up off of him.
But I haven't taken an action yet. That's.
Well, you okay? Then you do your action.
That's just free action to step away.
Okay, so what do you want to do?
All right, so if he's going to roll off of River to the.
You don't actually know he's going to do that, though. You won't know that.
Well,
I thought you were done with your action.
That's I'm watching him to see what he does.
Okay, so basically you get off of him and then you hold the action part.
Yes.
He rolls off. So he rolls off and is pointing the gun at you. You can jump in with your action.
Okay.
With your held action.
That's what I'm establishing. So, all right. So then, if he's going to do that, then I am going to Galvanic Arc him now that he's no longer in contact with River.
Okay.
So I need. I got that screwed up. And I'm going to go ahead and throw Karma on that. So that is is a 19.
That hits. You've got 2 raises.
2. Okay, so it's going to be this again. I was going to realize the dice messed up. Let's do that again. Okay, that is a 15.
He is unconscious. He is still alive because a lot of the damage done was stun, but he is definitely unconscious and definitely seen better days.
Okay, so he is no longer a problem.
No, he is not.
So I will get up and head to the other side of the, at least towards the back of the vehicle to see if August needs any help, because these two clearly have everything covered. Do I see the guy running away, or?
Give me a perception awareness. See if you can spot him.
Nine.
Yeah, he is. If you didn't know better, you might have thought he was severely inebriated. Because he is staggery as if the world is sideways. And occasionally like bumping into things and people.
Do I have a clear shot?
Call it odds or even.
Odds.
No. Too many looky-loos in the way.
Run after him.
All right.
And yells, help, apprehend that man.
I'm going to be really fair and honest. I don't think most bystanders jump in to help. But that takes us to the end of this initiative, new initiative. And
Yeah.
this round, the chick is, the nun, quote unquote, is free.
Yes.
Six for Morgana.
Oh, goody. I got a 2.
5.
So I've got Morgana at 6, River at 5, and Nigel at 2.
And I'm on 14.
And a 9?
14.
14.
Or the 14 for August.
Yeah.
All right. August. Guess who gets to go first again?
Yay. Can I attempt to apply some more pressure to the arm on the snark?
Sure.
Now that I've got him sort of, well and truly
All right. I'll give you.
contained.
I'm going to give you
Just to
3 raises on your unarmed. I'll give you 3 raises on your unarmed because you already have him somewhat contained. You're just kind of shifting to perfect your hold.
Yeah.
Raise it that inch higher.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you 3 raises on it. See what you can do with it.
Thank you. That's step 8, so that's 11. D10, D8. Be nice, dice, please. Be nice. My D8 likes me today as well. 16 again.
All right. You've managed to tweak it just a little bit, get that extra inch of leverage, and he's got to be very careful about anything he tries to do to get away from me right now, unless he wants that arm out of socket.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my next one was 214. She's loose now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nigel?
The spell effect ended at the end of the round, and she would just kind of.
So she kind of falls down off of the door and seems a little. It's that kind of surprised relief that she's no longer dangling from the door, and she bolts. Like, don't want none. Ain't gonna be here. So she's gone. She's running. He's unconscious. The guy that River is running or is chasing right now, he's still going to be fairly easy to catch up with because he is trying to flee. He's just not doing a great job of it. Which takes us to my 6.
Yep. Given the nun probably had to pick herself up after being stuck to the door, can I run up and get close to her for an attack?
I think so.
I will attack to knockdown by trying to hook her leg with my brolly.
Alright.
So I don't do damage, but we'll set a knockdown difficulty if I hit. 12 to hit.
That hits. And she goes kerplunk. And that takes us to Nigel.
So I was just typing in the chat. I could be really cheeky and just draw her back into the door again.
Pull her across the floor.
Just yo-yo yank.
Sorry, what?
We're waiting to see if Nigel just redoes the magnetism magic thing and just make her back into the door. So what are you doing, Nigel?
You know what? Since she's on the ground, I'll probably just leave her there. But I can Galvanic draw to keep her there.
Okay.
All right. So a 6 is probably not going to beat her spell defense. I'll throw Karma. That bumps it to a 7, which I believe should beat her when she's knocked down, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And I'm sure that doesn't do any additional raises, which is fine.
Yeah.
So I'm rolling effect. Not as strong this time, only a 7.
Okay. Thus ending the round. New round.
No, because I haven't gone yet.
Oh, sorry, River, your turn.
You're
pushing the dude.
I'll chase down the guy and I will try to grapple him down to the ground.
All right. Let's see grapple.
Got 11.
That's gonna work because he's pretty banged up overall, actually. You have him on the ground. And at this point, I'm going to take us out of initiative because honestly, other than making them dead, they have nowhere to go. And I think at this point, they realize they've got nowhere to go.
River's going to accidentally dislocate his shoulder.
All right, unarmed combat.
I'm okay with this.
Yep. I mean, it's what I'm trying to do to our snark friend in inverted commas.
6.
No, but he doesn't feel any better, my goodness. All right, you have now apprehended all 4 who are in there. What are you doing?
Do we want to interrogate him, or do we?
Actually, give me just a second. I'm going to step away for a moment because I got to get dogs switched.
Well,
because they can't be near each other at the moment.
That's fine. Then
And
we can review while you're gone and make plans.
And then I'll be back in about 10, okay?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yep.
This is what I give for, or not just shooting people.
That's it. Shooting, that's fine. Just wait till we have the advantage. Sonny, no, you cannot bite my microphone.
Yes, I can.
But,
and I will try.
Do we want to do warehouse interrogation or take him to the police for interrogation?
Well, I would say let's figure out what we can from them where they are right now.
Yep. If they cooperate.
Yeah.
Well, if they don't, that's what lightning's for.
I thought pliers would work for it too. You got some in your bag. None's probably going to be the one to actually have information. The other 3 are probably just lackeys.
That was kind of why I wanted to restrain her first.
I'm impressed that I just managed to hold my own with an orc who's almost, Snark, who's almost certainly a lot stronger than August is.
Good application of technique.
Hey, I've only just learned that.
Well, and the stats are built to handle that. I mean, yes, your natural strength will get you by in the early side, but once you actually have the time to raise skills and everything, you'll outclass natural strength easily.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. But it's just like, I have 1 rank in it. It's an optional skill.
I was pleased with my 31.
Step 5 strength. So he's not very strong.
This probably would have gone a lot quicker if we had Weymont here using stun.
Or if I would have just, used a gun.
How dare he go and research things?
Well, the next thing we're going to have to look for magically is try to get some sort of a truth-telling or compulsion spell, and that will probably be a Weymont one, because I don't think I'm going to have anything for that.
It would require attacking lots of bits to people for the galvanic thing, because it'd be such a lie detector.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, basically, again, lightning is my truth-telling.
Yeah, it'd be possible, but we'd have to work out what it looked like. Like a joy buzzer if they tell a lie.
Yeah, probably wouldn't be able to compel them to tell the truth, but just be able to tell that they are lying. Just make a polygraph spell. Yeah, that could be a good one.
Zone of truth.
Well, when she gets back, we're going to have to take a look over the vehicle itself and see what we can find out about it.
Yeah. The other question is how handing over to the police seems the sensible thing, but then we have to convince the police that they're part of a child kidnapping ring.
Well, given that the one tried and did shoot River.
Yeah.
Took most of the damage off, but still.
Okay. Sorry. And back. So we've got River has one guy pinned probably close to a block away at this point. Well, maybe a half a block because he wasn't moving too well. And August has one guy pretty well contained unless he really wants his arm dislocated. The other guy is unconscious and needs medical attention. He ain't doing much. And the lady is pinned to the sidewalk. Also, give or take, maybe a half quarter of a block away because she didn't get terribly far either. What do y'all do?
Corralling them, but if they're going to cooperate under general continued menaces, corral them all back into the car. Seems the best place to keep them.
I will say that you guys can corral them back into the car. Now what?
While they're getting them dragged over, I want to do a quick search of the vehicle itself. See what information I can find from there. I got awareness and let's see here. Probably also do a field engineering on the vehicle itself just to see what I can learn about it.
Okay. Give me the awareness.
Yep, awareness. I'm going to go ahead and throw karma on that. That's a 20.
Woo. Okay.
Whew.
So that was with Karma. And then the field engineering. Not much from that. I only got a 5, but I don't know that there's a whole lot there to find out anyway.
It's not a. It's a standard stagecoach. It's not something that necessarily you're going to find a lot of information on. It's nothing fancy, nothing unique.
Okay.
The 20, however, lends you a ledger book. It's fairly small, was dark in color, and quite frankly, you don't think it was so much purposefully hidden as much as it kind of found itself tucked up and wedged underneath the seat in the crash. But it still made it difficult to find. But you did. So you're not really sure what the ledger says. It seems to be in some sort of encryption. There seems to be some sort of labeling system. Now, everybody else. He searched it. He has a ledger. And you have unconscious guy, help. You have guy with a very severe head wound, whiplash, concussion. You have a very angry nun, not nun. And you have a guy who's pretty ticked off because he really doesn't feel like August should have gotten the better of him. No offense, August.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We were discussing it. I look like a, not very strong elf. It's fine.
Yeah. So he feels a little like, what the Hades just happened to my life. No offense.
Sucks to be him.
What do you guys want to do?
We need to start questioning them, I suppose. So
Yeah.
I guess that means Morgana, you're up. Frustratingly, I don't get cryptography until next tier.
Next tier. Oh, I just realised it'd be a useful free skill. So adding it to my list of free skills to pick up at some point.
See, I'm a helpful GM. I'm even helping you guys to figure out what you want to do later. Helpful. All right, sorry, go ahead.
I was trying to think. So where are you getting the children from?
Who are you asking?
The nun.
The nun?
Yeah.
She looks at you, and the look is not a nice look, okay? And then she rolls first impression.
Isn't it a little late for first impression?
Huh?
Isn't it a little late for first impression? We've already met.
No, you saw each other. That's not quite the same as meeting. I mean, or technically you could have this when you're first moving her over, but no one's had a conversation with her yet. So
Probably
she has
too late for her to make first impression on the door, because she got quite intimately familiar then.
She's already made the first impression
her
on the door.
Are very acquainted at this point, and Nigel, if she knew exactly which one of you people did that, she would not like them very much. I'll throw that out there. But she has a 17 on first impression.
17?
Huh?
Well, I'll try and resist taunt it, but it's only... Well, it's 2 success against my social, so that's probably shifting from being hostile to being...
neutral and angry. Because there's a lot of reason for you to be hostile here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna still say you have a fairly negative opinion of this woman, but it's a bit softened because suddenly she seems a little weak and small, and when she starts talking, she uses diplomacy. That she only got an 11 on.
That will be just a success, but I'll successfully resist taunt it because it can be used against anything that challenges my social defense.
Right.
The best way for you to not have all of this dropped at your feet is to cooperate and tell us everything, answer all our questions.
She literally give me a will roll.
6.
Okay. She just seems kind of small and fragile right now. Like, it's not at a point where you're just going to be, oh, I'm so sorry, poor little girl, right? But she does seem somehow smaller and weaker. And she goes, I don't know anything. I just get told to drop these kids off.
Then tell us who's telling you to do this.
Well, he does. He makes us do it. That man who I gave the children to. I don't want him to hurt me. You'll help save me from him, won't you?
We will help make sure he and everybody in league with him is brought to justice, whatever they deserve.
Didn't exactly sound that way when you told him beggars can't be choosers.
Oh, Nigel, you're going to get a look.
She won't be able to first impression me because I heard her talking.
Oh, she gives you a look, and it is not a nice look. It's not a friendly look.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Then she'll look at you, Morgana, basically spits in your face and says, God gave him to me. How do you like that?
Okay.
Empathic sense on the nun? He's... One second. Empathic sense on the nun, let's put it this way. I don't know that the term would have been used all that much, but she's a psychopath. So she doesn't feel any guilt or feel like she's done anything wrong.
Yeah, I figured that was likely the response I would get.
So it makes a little bit of a problem with reading her because she convinces herself of her own lies when and how she does them. Yeah. But she has absolutely no shame or remorse right now at all.
I also got an 11 on empathic sense because I have that too.
What's your empathic? Yes, River.
11.
I'm going to take 5 bullets out of the revolver. I'm going to spin the chamber, and I'm going to put it to her knee. Talk, or I pull the trigger. And I do this until, you tell us the truth.
Okay.
River basically goes, God gave them to you? Okay, let's give you to God.
He said,
give your kneecap to God.
So Morgana,
give your kneecap to God.
On your 11,
yeah,
you don't necessarily understand or feel it as closely. You're not on the lies part, but you definitely feel like there's no remorse here. On your sense motive, there's no remorse here at all. You definitely know that. All right. Now, River, does anybody stop River? Because I will say there's a moment where she pauses and she looks at you guys to see what you are going to do.
As long as it's towards her kneecap, that's fine. I'm not going to stop River. She's got a loaded gun.
Morgana will look at the lady in the eye and go, you answer our questions, you keep your kneecaps. I suggest you start answering.
I'm just keeping an eye on the others and making sure they're not running.
Where does God leave his children lying around for you?
So she looks around, and she notices that you still have a lot of looky-loos, right? Because people have been watching this entire thing.
Yeah.
Strangely, you would have thought someone might have jumped in and done something, but for the most part, they just watched, which you see in large cities. She starts screaming and pleading for help in such a way that, like, passerbys are feeling sympathy for her. Because she comes off, she has the ability, it's another psychopathic tendency, masking. She's really good at turning on and off this, oh, poor, weak little me. And she ignores you and starts pleading with passerbys, please, please, they're torturing me. Oh, if it's really just an arrest, why don't they call the bobbies?
This
Please help.
woman is a kidnapper. Could somebody fetch the police? That would be an excellent idea.
There's no children here. What have I kidnapped? Please?
The children you just left at your friend's house.
Yeah, there's a few people who are starting to come closer.
I will get out of the carriage or away from the carriage and try and start to get people to disperse by telling them that we are working with the police and we have apprehended these criminals. So go about your rest of your day.
She has these really incredibly sympathetic, delicate, muffled little cries that are just so freaking pitiful. And one guy basically looks at August and is like, "Wait, if you're working with the police, where's your credentials? Do you have a badge? How do we know you're not the bad people?"
I will hand him one of our cards.
All right. While that's going on, and August is trying to calm down the natives.
As she's going through her whole spiel, she'll hear the click.
Is this a magical effect that she's doing?
Are you looking astrally?
Yes, I will.
Okay, tell me your astral.
Let me roll that 1 second. Uh, 9.
Yes, it is.
I can dispel.
You most certainly can. All right. Inside, when you pull the thing and it goes click, she screams out as if a bullet actually came out. Oh, killing me! They're hurting me! Oh!
26.
Oh gosh, darn it! Why you all my stuff?
I threw karma on it because I knew you were gonna do something like this.
Brad, I don't like you today, Brad. You're messing up my stuff, dude. So the people outside, August, seem to be like, what?
Yeah.
Because they're riling up, and then they're just kind of like, wait a minute, hold on. Why are we getting involved in this? Why are we suddenly getting involved in this?
And she hears another click.
Oh, the evil glare you're getting, Nigel. Because I think she's catching on to your ass.
Morgana will definitely get her face to hers and go, "We've seen your tricks before. Some people are better at it. Answer our questions."
You're already down 2 chances. Now it's a 1 in 4.
I want my solicitor.
She loses a new kneecap.
You just go click, click, and then it goes? Because it's going to go on the third bullet.
Yep.
So now there's the gunfire.
It's
which
muffled.
startles a whole bunch of people outside.
It would be muffled because it's going point blank into flesh.
Come here, Bat. Come here, Bat. Come on, Froggo. Come here. Come on, Froggy. Good job. Oh, they're going to be mad at me. So, oh. So now she's screaming in actual pain. Just, so you know.
Nice tragic
Bunch
for her.
Bunch of bullies.
Sorry, what?
Bunch of bullies.
You're
Yeah, that I can't dispel.
No, you can't dispel that. Okay. So now, like the people on the outside who are now much more concerned and probably maybe not going near because, I mean, you did shot a gun in there. But they're probably most definitely looking for some sort of police, Bobby, somebody on a telephone, something. Right, she's now screaming in pain. How much damage did you do?
Only 6.
Only 6? Okay.
I load another bullet. Spin the chamber. Do you want to play again, or do you want to? Do you want to play again? I can. You have another kneecap.
I'm assuming you tied them up or something, right? She's not free to move her hands.
Yeah, true.
Let's see, what did she pull off? Oh. No. Oh. All right.
I will mention to the others, you can start talking too and save your kneecaps.
The guy with the head injury goes, I just drive the car. They call for a car. I get in the car. I take the car to the house. I take them and drop them back off.
Where'd
I
you
just
pick up
drive the car.
to him with all of my noble, aristocratic, you answer questions to me, assuming he's going to answer me. Where do you pick the children up from?
She has the kids when I pick her up. I literally just pick them up, take them to a place, they drop the kids up, and then I take them back. I just drive the thing.
Do you dispose of the children once they're dead? I'll be trying to pitch this today.
This is probably the most focused this man's eyes have been since he got his head bashed into the windshield. And he looks at you with all the look of all, like, what the heckness that one can muster while their head is throbbing. What bodies? There's no bodies. I drop the kids off. I take them back. What bodies? And he's actually looking at the other people like, what is that man? What is she talking about? The unconscious guy, he's not worth much. The guy that August had basically just looks around and says, shut the blank up. And looks at the rest and looks at you guys and goes, even if he keeps talking, he doesn't know anything. Because remember, he's relatively uninjured.
Well, look at him. Oh, so you do know things. How many kneecaps have you got?
Same amount as you, sweetheart.
Would you like to keep it that way?
And kind of rolls his shoulders back and goes, kneecaps are dead. Kneecaps are dead. Kneecaps dead.
With what?
You're roboting, Andy.
Sorry. Hold on one second. See if it'll quit. All right. Am I better now?
Yep.
Yeah. We'll look him in the face.
Right. He says, yeah.
As it stands,
what you... Basically, kneecaps are dead. I prefer my kneecaps gone. I can at least still be alive with kneecaps gone. Make a better offer.
You answer our questions, we tell the police that you cooperated, and maybe you don't hang.
No, you still hang. Make a better offer. The Bobbies aren't here yet. The woman gets ticked off, and she tries to like hit at, smack him, whatever, as best she can. Like even if that's just she can kick at him. And
First one.
his name, and she appeared
First one
on him to talk.
First one to talk and tell us the truth might get to walk. Well, not you, none. You
No.
could limp.
I walk away. I'll tell you what you want. I go to the Bobbies, you shoot me, I don't tell you anything. That's the deal on the table. She starts cursing even more. You something, turncoat, blah, 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 knew you shouldn't have been trusted. Something about a cow and his mother, I'm sure.
I'll just look at him and go, stop talking.
Is the deal agreed upon? He seems to want assurances that you are going to abide by the deal.
I'll untie him.
So if you're untying him, he will look at you and be like, is it agreed upon then? He literally is, he is waiting for you to actually say the words.
I should still have my astral set up. I'm wondering if he's trying to do a magical effect. Or do you want me to roll that
Okay.
again?
Roll it again.
Okay.
Shoot for a little higher.
That's
If
a
your
19.
information is good enough, you get to walk.
That's a 19.
A 19? You are positive he is doing something magical. Without magic theory, you're not sure what. You have a lot to ask and talk to Weymont about.
He's trying to do some sort of a compulsion effect.
You're not really sure that's a compulsion.
Or some sort of a binding agreement
some sort
thing.
of binding agreement thing. Yeah, definitely feel like that's going on. But without magical theory, you can't put your finger exactly on what he's doing. But yes, somehow that this agreement is going to somehow be magically binding. Would be I would think, a common sense idea. And he just looks at you and Nigel, and he's like, you have to say the words or I won't tell you anything. The woman does manage to kick him, and you get kind of an oof noise out of him, but he doesn't break eye contact with you, Nigel.
Well, should we go for it? I'll look to Morgana.
If his information is good enough, he gets to walk.
And he just says, the agreement is I tell you what I know and I walk away. And you're running out of time. The Bobbies will eventually show up.
Well, he'll be compelled to tell what he knows in order to satisfy the agreement. I'm willing to go for it. It depends on everybody else.
Go for it.
Morgana?
Morgana?
Morgana.
Sorry, I thought I was still outside trying to placate crowds and get them to
You
go away.
are? Yeah, you would be outside still, so maybe you don't, But Morgana definitely is in there.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to decide Morgana's actual opinion on this one.
While you decide, I've popped a question in the chat because I can't remember.
Oh, sorry.
The name of our friendly. It's all right. Name of our friendly Bobby.
Oh,
Notes.
yeah, you have a friendly Bobby for sure. You actually, I think, have a couple, and now you also have one on the Knights of the Grow. But yeah. Yes, you do definitely have.
I don't know if this would be in their jurisdiction.
No, but they would bring a sense of authority to the proceedings.
Well, there will be Bobbies that are just from this district showing up because somebody surely at this point, with all the mayhem, has tried to get an officer out.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Because you even said, yes, please somebody call for the police. So somebody surely has done it. You're just waiting for them to show up.
Okay. Cool. No worries.
I'll pose to this guy, can you decode the ledger? And I'll hold that up.
No, but I have a lot of other information. I will give this to you without even a sense of motive. He's not lying, and basically, astrally, he's still holding whatever this pattern that he's pulling together is. So you do not believe that it's a lie.
Well, yeah, he wouldn't be able to because he's going to have to hold up to his agreement.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Do we have a deal?
As long as everybody else is in consensus, I will say agreed.
Morgana, I think you're our last one.
Yeah. Agreed.
Doesn't like it. Tastes dirty in your mouth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The children are the important part.
He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out some sort of stick with like maybe sage tied to it. Some sort of weird item. And he goes, with this deal, I do make. And he looks at you, Nigel, and says, with this deal, you do make. Say it.
At this deal, I do make.
And he snaps it. And you can feel it, Nigel. I'm not sure how much everybody else feels, but you can feel it. And he looks at you and goes, my name is, I live at, and he just starts. That person's name is, her name is, she lives at, as far as I know, with a significant other name, and he gives a first name. The woman is just livid, pissed, telling him to shut up, to the point where you might shove something in her mouth. He says, she finds the children by convincing them that she's helping them get a decent job, and that it's better than being on the streets. She gets a cut from Toby per child. Toby's using them to make, I don't know, some sort of drug in there. I've never been in the building. Your children all have to have this weird talisman to get in. It makes it so the wards don't go off. He has one on him all the time. The other ones are kept safely in the house, and he takes them out, puts them on, takes them off as soon as they're inside. So they can't get out either. She works for a man named, and he gives you the name, but it's obviously not a real name, and he doesn't know the real name. It's a street name.
Right.
Morgana will be taking notes.
Yeah,
I have a pencil.
Yeah, I'm noting everything.
I will go back and type up some of this. I will go back and type up a bunch of this. But yeah, he tells you pretty much anything you know, and then says, is there something that I may have missed that you would like to know?
Where does the troll keep his charm about his person?
Usually in his left pocket, occasionally in his right, but usually in the left.
Are there any passphrases you're aware of used to get entrance?
Nope. Only thing I've ever seen are the and he kind of shrugs because he doesn't actually have a correct term for it. Keys that you have to have on to pass through.
What are you going to do with yourself now when we let you go?
Go to the pub and get a pint. What are you going to do?
Deal with this mess, and then I hope you give us an excuse to deal with you again in future. I suggest you leave town soon.
At you. He looks and goes, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to leave for a little while, lay low.
Just don't come
man's got
back.
to work. Man's got to make money.
Find a better living.
And he nods and says, are we complete? And he looks at Nigel.
Anything else from anybody else before we... Going once. Going twice. Alright, we are complete.
And you can feel, again, Nigel especially, you can feel that has an effect. And he says, with that, the deal is done. And he nods, and he starts to leave, gets out of the vehicle, closes the door, looks at the woman right before he closes the door, and says, you know, I might have turned you in anyhow. You're a worthless piece of something, and I don't know why you're like you are, but I do hope they hang you. And he walks off.
I'm presuming I heard enough of this so that I don't, try and re-apprehend him.
I'm going to assume so.
Because I won't have been too far away from the carriage. Once I'd got everything mostly
and also, you would also notice that none of them are doing anything about it. Like, none of them are like, wait, stop him. Nothing like that. So,
yeah. No, that's fine. I will.
You might be a little bit like, I think later I want to hear all of that filled in.
Yeah, he will look quizzically at the snark as he walks past.
Oh, though on the plus point, we never said how far we'd let him walk.
Like I mentioned...
You can try. If you're going to do that, let me know.
Once he's out of earshot, I will mention, Weymont isn't here. He's not subject to the deal. We have a contact.
Morgana said, I believe the deal was to let him give him these answers and let him walk away. That's now done.
Well, we've got all of his information, so we know where he works around.
I will give you guys this, if you want, because nobody actually asked what his part in it was.
Oh, I figured that was part of the information that you were going to give us.
His part in it, okay. So the one guy really is just a driver. He really doesn't know anything. He works for basically himself, and they just contact him and say, we want a car at this daytime. And he picks them up basically the same place. He gives you the address, takes them to, they drop the kids off, they go back. Him and the other dude are basically their muscle. In case some of the older or bigger kids get out of line, in case somebody gets a little too nosy, their muscle. Hired by Madcap. Not actually hired by her. Madcap gets a cut of the kids. So she gets a cut, he gets a cut, and he pays for the security. Her main job is to get the kids, and then she dresses up as a nun to deliver the kids, and people don't really question it because you don't question nuns. But literally, he knows who hired him. That's part of the reason he's willing to leave, is he snitches on Madcap. Madcap's going to probably try to kill him. Put a cap in that, so to speak. The unconscious guy, in truth, he doesn't like that guy at all. He basically almost tells you you'd have been better off just killing that one. And if you ask why, he would tell you because that one likes to hurt people. That one likes to kill people. The guy you let go, he's just a businessman. He doesn't involve himself, and he doesn't do any more harm than is necessary to get the job done. He doesn't actually like harming people. He'll do it. He has no conscience about it. But he doesn't go further with it. The guy you put down, the guy who tried to shoot River in the head, he's like, that dude totally would have killed you. And wouldn't have lost a wink of sleep over it.
Well, yeah, and
her,
that was obvious when he pulled the trigger.
But he's like, you'd have been better off putting that one down. Because that's the best thing to happen for that dude in the world. Her too, in his opinion. Put them both down. But he does say that the driver guy really is just a driver guy and has no idea. Probably should have questioned things, but really never did. And you can maybe put that down to people don't question nuns. And yep, so he walks away. The woman is seething, ticked off. And that is where you guys are at.
Well, then,
anything
look
else
to
you
her.
want to get?
Anything else you'd like to add?
Her?
To the nun, yeah.
Oh, good. I can't repeat most of what she says because you'll be mad at me. Or YouTube will be mad at me. And she basically, the only other thing you get out of it of any value is that you better watch your backs. Madcap will come for you.
Really, tell me about Madcap.
Business. What's that?
Really, tell me about this Madcap.
Oh, she won't give you any information on it. You do have information from the guy that walked away. You have a name, you have a location that he can't tell you for sure that the guy hangs out there a lot, but he knows that he was hired from and that the other guy was hired from the same pub. And the pub is called Nowhere. Where are you going? Nowhere. Where have you been? Nowhere. August might have heard of Nowhere. He can do Streetwise. Anybody else who has Streetwise can do Streetwise.
Oh,
sure.
I picked up Streetwise.
As well. Hey. Step 10.
Streetwise. Oh, good.
Hold on. Bring a karma in as well, just because. May as well.
A Mighty Fall from Morgana. I suspect she hasn't heard of that one.
No, I mean... Sorry,
really
what was that?
My Firefly dice. I really like my Firefly dice today. 9, 12.
Sounds like
13.
I don't, but okay.
14.
14. You've heard of it.
I got 12.
You would have heard of it too. It's fairly well known for being kind of shady to neutral. Like, nobody starts anything at the pub. Like, it's a huge faux pas to start stuff at the pub. But deals are made there, and deals that aren't necessarily deals that you don't necessarily want the cops in on. Not always necessarily bad, just that you don't want the cops, Like, it's a very much nobody saw you there, you were never there, nobody knows nothing, and you were nowhere. The bar itself is like, the pub is at least 2 stories. There may be a basement that you're not sure of. The main floor is where most of you hang out. They've got some kind of booths that are but they also have some rooms upstairs that people can have private meetings in. And you think the proprietor also lives upstairs.
When we get a quiet moment, I will let everybody know that information, but not in front of...
In River, you'd know pretty much all that too. Matter of fact, August and River might have at some point, if they were ever involved in something a little on the less legal side, there's a possibility that you could have met up with your contact there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she will not give over any more information. She's either doing it out of spite at this point, or out of the fact that she knows that she's not going to get to walk away, or fear of Madcap, or loyalty to Madcap. Yeah, that part's a little murky. The one dude's still unconscious, and the driver's like, see, I'm just a driver. I don't even know how I'm going to fix all of this. Talking about the car. Can I at least go home? I didn't know the kids were kidnapped. I just drove the nun. Please?
Promise to make better choices.
Sorry?
Honestly, I think
Promise
that's up
to
to
make
the
choice.
feelers to decide. We'll let them deal with the legal applications.
All right. The Bobbies will show up. And what do you tell them?
What we know, what we saw, Morgana will deploy her aristocratic title because it's cheaper than bribing them.
So they're going to believe you guys. They're going to arrest those three, but there aren't any children here, so they're going to have to go to that house and investigate. And
we are
see what
investigating that. It has a series of magical defenses on it that would make any attempt to raid it very dangerous. Morgana will promise to make sure they are involved when we're doing that. And if it requires us going to the station and her talking to the officers, which is kind of the preference anyway, because then we're doing it out of the way, and our landlady can't, it's less likely to find out.
They seem to think that even though you're investigating, you're not the police. And that the fact that you say that they're magical words that makes them a little nervous, but they're like, we have a team for that now.
We know.
Yes, and getting them involved is probably a good idea, but just make sure that there are no raids set out there without consultants on that matter. I believe we've spoken to members of that team.
Yes, you have.
Yes, officer.
One of them is
so I'll probably rattle off the names.
Two of them are not on that team anymore.
Well, yeah.
There was some sort of incident.
Yeah, I'll rattle off the names of the ones that I'm aware of.
Yeah, he will actually tell you two of those guys aren't on that team anymore. He doesn't exactly say why, he just points to it as an incident.
I'll just nod knowingly.
Yeah, you guys actually know all about that.
Yeah.
So he arrests them, and he says that he thinks that you guys shouldn't do anything until you talk to the magic team.
That's perfect.
We will do that.
I don't know if that's what you're going to do, but you guys at least say you're going to.
Mm-hmm. I think it's not a bad plan, all in all.
I do think it would be helpful if
and with that, we're going to leave it.
As I did to the peelers, I would tell them I would think it would be helpful if we could get watches set up on the streets exiting this neighborhood just to make sure they don't try to make a run for it.
You mean Toby?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because this is going to be all over the neighborhood within probably because gossip spreads. And this is only a block or so away. I know. Nobody's ever thought that gossip spreads.
Morgana may... Once we've dealt with the police, Morgana may go and deal with our landlady by giving her the I was there and we helped version of events.
Okay.
Because we work for the government, of course.
Yes, exactly.
So we're going to put a pin in it. They are being hauled off by the police. I will fill in information that you got from the one guy. Who from your team is going to go and contact the magic Bobby team?
I'll go there because I'll have more of the magical knowledge.
Okay. And the other 3 of you, and Weymont, when he makes it back from whatever he was doing,
I figured Weymont was researching how to break really powerful wards.
Are going to watch, probably looking for information on how to take down wards. There you go. Are going to watch the street from the alley, from the front, both, to make sure that Toby doesn't leave.
Yeah.
Until you can get the backup in place.
Yes.
That is where we were at. Okay.
Yep.
This has been a really good game. I think you guys did great.
Thank you. That was fun.
Thank you.
Did you guys have a good time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right. I hearts all of you. Happy Mother's Day to fur parents and our real baby parents. And tell your parents Happy Mother's Day.
Yep.
If you're in the UK.
Any experience?
600. You guys did a lot. Is that good?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brad, is that a fair number?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. I think so. I think you guys did really well, really well. So, all right. I will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good game. Night, guys.
All right. Well, with that, I will go ahead and sign off from the stream. Thank you very much for everybody who's watching. If you weren't able to make everything, we'll get it uploaded on YouTube. The other ones are being scheduled to upload, so keep an eye out for those getting posted in the evenings. But with that, stream is ending now.